Hey guys, and welcome back to the channel. I'm Michelle.
And I'm Ken, and today we're here to review The Iron Claw. Oh my God, you gotta watch yourself. It's The Claw. I just made that connection, but the mom in this movie, the Von Erich mother, is in Liar Liar. And Jim Carrey does The Claw. Isn't that a
I was
cool
going to say you
connection?
didn't just make that connection because you said that last night.
But anyway, we're here to talk about The Iron Claw. We just watched it on Blu-ray last night. This actually comes out in a week or so, but I was lucky enough to get an early screening copy. But before we get into talking about it, we talk about a lot of movies on this channel, TV, entertainment news every Monday. If you like that kind of stuff, hit the subscribe button. And also,
like the video.
Like she said. And if you saw The Iron Claw, I feel like we're among the last people to see this movie.
Yeah.
It came out in theaters last December. Let us know your thoughts in the comments section down below, or if you do plan to see it. But, all right, The Iron Claw is directed by Sean Durkin.
Okay.
And it stars Zac Efron and Jeremy Allen White, and tells the story of the very famous wrestling family of the Von Erichs.
Yeah.
Which you were not too familiar with going into
not.
this. But that's one thing I'll say just starting off. You do not have to be a wrestling fan to enjoy this movie.
Right.
I think that's important to note. It's just a human family story. But The Iron Claw, what are your initial thoughts on the movie?
Yeah, so this was one that we really wanted to see in theaters, but we just never made it. So I was really excited when you got it. And, I got to say that, I feel like for the most part, it did live up to the hype. I'd heard that this was really great. I had also heard that this was a very sad and depressing movie, which was also true.
Yeah.
This definitely isn't really a movie you walk away from like feeling like uplifted or, happy about. But it was definitely a good movie, great performances. But just a very heartbreaking story.
Yeah, it is. It's a very heartbreaking story, but I'll say it does kind of leave you on a little bit of an uplifting note. I feel like, just with the one brother and how he turned out, and seeing him where he's at now, they kind of show you that,
right?
As well. So
and I don't know if we want to
all doom and gloom.
Yeah. Is that a spoiler to say there's?
You see, that's where this is what I consider to be a spoiler is, well, my problem with spoilers and like real life events,
right,
is if it happened in real life, then is it a spoiler to talk about it because it actually did happen? But I do know that some people aren't familiar with the story, so I don't want to go into like super details, but this is about a family, and there's a lot of tragedy in this Von Erich family, so you can kind of draw your own conclusions as to what that means exactly. But yeah, I really enjoyed this movie as well. I'd say that I don't know if it exactly lived up to the hype. I do have some issues, but I don't know if my issues are really with this movie itself. I think that my main issue is it just feels a little rushed. I felt like there was a lot of story to get through and to tell, and I kind of feel like a miniseries would have been more. This story would have been more served by a miniseries rather than a movie. But I can't really blame that on the movie. I think the movie handled the material probably the best it could have for the 2-hour runtime.
I mean, we kind of talked about this, but because there is so much that happens to this family, the movie is like 2 hours and 20 minutes long. So it is a long movie, but it's still a lot of story to tell. And so, I feel like they did a good job with setting everything up and, telling that story. But at the same time, once it gets going, it's kind of like they have to cram all of the big stuff in, like really quickly. Yeah. And it just seems like it's one thing after another that's happening to where it kind of like takes away from it.
Yeah.
Because so much does happen and it feels like it's happening so close together, it just kind of almost becomes like comical. I don't really know how to say it, but it's Jesus Christ, like give this family a break. I don't know. Whereas if it had been kind of split up a little bit more, I feel like it may have been like you would have felt those moments more,
Yeah.
But it's almost like you become a little numb to it because
Yeah.
it's just so much.
My big problem is you never got the sense of like just how big and famous this family was.
Yeah.
You never really felt like they took off as like performers and as wrestlers, and you never really got that. It never felt like there was the one moment where they're playing the Rush song and they're all fighting in the ring and stuff.
Yeah.
They kind of do a little montage. I don't know if that was supposed to be like their big run
Right.
in the 80s, but I would have liked to have seen a little bit more. But like I said, I don't know if I can really blame the movie or the filmmakers or the writers, because I feel like they did the best they could. I don't think anybody else could have tackled this story any better in this time frame.
Yeah, it's like this movie is obviously very focused on wrestling, but at the same time, I feel like it kind of focuses on the tragedies that happened to this family more.
One thing I think that the movie got right is just establishing the relationship dynamic between all the brothers. I could really feel that.
Right.
For sure.
Yeah, I mean, all of the whole cast was great. I feel like,
Yeah.
you know, the brothers, the parents, just
like you understood like where everybody stood in this family.
Right.
You understood everybody's motivations and
very like I guess you would call it like old fashioned like family dynamic. Just that like you know, dad who's, you know, men don't show emotions. He only wants the best of the best sons. And then the mother who's just very like, you know, she does her, you know, her mom duties or wife duties rather, you know, cooking the food and stuff. But this family just didn't really offer a lot, as far as they weren't big about talking about their feelings or their emotions. They had to like internalize everything, which, you know, at the end of it, I feel like contributes to a lot of the heartache that this family experienced.
Yeah, I mean, let's be honest, they didn't have the best, most supportive parents, at least emotionally. So the brothers do have to kind of lean on each other. And that's where I feel like the movie really shines, is you understand how important all of these brothers are to each other.
Yeah.
Which does make it very effective when the tragedies and everything that happens later on strikes. So...
yeah, I mean, to be honest, I was expecting to cry in this movie, but I didn't. You know, there were definitely some sad moments, but again, just because they were happening so quickly together, I don't know, it was just hard for me to fully like feel each moment. Again, they were still very sad and emotional, but like I wasn't, you know, brought to tears or anything, and I was kind of expecting to be.
Yeah, I get that. I got a little maybe teary-eyed at the end, just the last scene, but I also had that whole scene spoiled for me, so I kind of knew what was going to happen, what was said and everything, yeah.
Yeah, that was a very, you know, hard.
And when, you know, he fully breaks down in that moment, and
well, it was kind
the
of
whole
like,
theme of the movie is men don't cry, and then he finally does at the end.
It's kind of like, okay, is he gonna break the cycle? Is he gonna, you know, is he gonna change when he raises his family? And so, yeah, you know, definitely just a very, you know, heartbreaking story. But again, everybody was so good. Zac Efron.
Yeah, I was
going
to say, rolling into that, just what did you think of Zac Efron's performance? Because to be honest, I know that there was some controversy with this movie and how A24 rolled it out to the critics and the screeners is why it didn't get any like Oscar recognition.
Yeah.
But like if it had, I feel like, I don't know if it was Best Picture worthy. I'd probably give it Best Picture. But Zac Efron 100% was snubbed for Best Actor. He should have been in that category.
Yeah.
And possibly even won for me, because I thought he was excellent. Easily the strongest part about the movie.
Yeah, he was great in it. And then, you know, the other brothers, we've got the one guy from The Bear.
I feel like I might have heard, but he's really, it doesn't feel like he's the focus of this, and it doesn't feel like he's in it for very much. And I think it's because he kind of comes in later and then...
yeah, he's kind of like in and out of it.
Goes in and out of it, I feel like. You know,
yeah.
He's not there all the time. Whereas Zac Efron is really just leading the whole movie. I feel like he's the center point of everything.
It was really good.
Yeah, it was a good movie, and I don't know what else to say about it, really.
What did you think about the dad?
The dad was great too. Like I would have put him up for best supporting actor performance. He was great. You didn't like him, but you weren't supposed to like him. But yeah, that actor was fantastic.
Yeah,
I mean, I thought the woman Maura Tierney who played the mom was really good as well.
I didn't love her. She was, she was playing.
I didn't like the character that much, but
right, she was playing kind of more of a cold mom. She had some moments where she was momish, but she was just very, I don't know. She just didn't seem like she had that motherly love in her.
They were just a very cold family across the board, except for the brothers to each other.
Yeah, so I don't know. I didn't love her performance. I didn't feel like she really had to do that much. She was pretty quiet for the most part and stuff. But yeah, I mean, I'm overall pleased with it. And you want to rate it?
Well, I did want to talk about real quick. I thought visually the movie looked really good too. Mm-hmm. And I thought that because I feel like I think a lot of the actors actually went through wrestling training.
Yeah.
That a lot of those sequences looked very believable.
Yeah,
because they actually learned how to wrestle. So I thought that was really cool. But yeah, getting into my rating, I was struggling with this, going back and forth. I'm going to give it a 4 out of a 5 right now. It could bump up if I rewatch it again to a 4.5.
Right.
I really liked the movie a lot.
Yeah.
But I wanted more, I guess, from the story. But I'll give it a 4 out of a 5.
Yeah, I'm going to give it a 4 out of 5 as well.
Okay.
It was really good, really solid for sure.
But that is our review of The Iron Claw.
Yeah.
Pick it up if it comes out, when it comes out in a week or so, and it's probably on streaming now to buy as well. But we definitely recommend it. But if you haven't yet subscribed to the channel, hit the subscribe button. Also like the video, comment down below, and we'll see you guys later.
Bye.